I want to brush his hair. Not from love or affection. I don't think he's even attractive. No, it's just when men have long hair, they usually don't look after it properly, and he is no exception. He runs his hands through constantly trying to untangle knots. This is why we invented hairbrushes. Why don't you just brush your hair? Because as it stands, your hair is greasy on top, where you run your hands through constantly to untangle knots, and underneath it is dry. It has split ends. Did you know you can get not just split ends in your pubes, but a split middle too? I learned that from personal experience. And if you just brushed, if you would let me brush it, if you would use conditioner at least, it would be healthy. The thing is, wait. I have this t-shirt and it says, "The future is queer." And what I've noticed is that straight people generally do not comment on it. Queer people do all the time. "I like your t-shirt." And it is nice, but I know what they're really saying is, "I agree with that sentiment." Usually people who are obviously queer anyway, and queer in particular, not gay, queer, as in they dye their hair rainbow colours and, you know, septum piercings, etc. The only straight person to comment on it was my friend's new, at the time, now ex-boyfriend, as he tried to read it and was nervous, asking whether it really said queer. He turned out to be a racist, which is a shame because he seemed like such a nice boy. After saying I was completely done with apps, I am back on Tinder. And my bio says, "Did you know that Emily Bronte once punched a dog?" This guy starts chatting and this is a textbook example of how tone does not come across on the internet. I think he's being, you know, jocular. Says, "I don't know who this Emily Bronte person is, but she sounds like a thug." So I go along with it. "Yeah, isn't she just a thug?" And then I tell him, and here's where I went wrong, because this bit isn't funny, but it sounded like I thought it was funny, that she actually gave the dog brain damage. But, you know, tragedy plus time equals comedy, so... And then he just says, "No, animal abuse is never funny, in any way." So then I tried to backtrack and make myself not sound like a psychopath and try to tell him that I don't find dogs with brain damage funny. I find the thought of one of the 19th century's finest novelists being the sort of person to punch a dog. And anyway, there is something inherently funny about someone punching an animal as if they were squaring up to a person, like that Newcastle United fan in the police horse. Funny. And I nearly tell him that I'm a vegan to prove that I care about animals too. But then I realised that now he's embarrassed. Because he didn't know who Emily Bronte was and didn't get the whole thing. Now I'm wondering, did he just match with me to tell me that punching dogs is bad? Anyway, the point is, look after it properly or chop it all off.